What's up, everybody? It's been a little bit since I posted on the new car. Got it out. Had to pull a ton of time out. By the way, I got the coil on plug. It's actually what this video is about. But the coil on plug stuff's done. Crank trigger, of course, vacuum pump, got all that put on it. But anyway, it's running 520s, pulling, I think, 18 degrees timing for the first second and a half to keep the front end down. So I haven't had a good test session to work on the chassis to get it to stay down and go straight, so I had to just kill power. But anyway, so I don't think 490s, 480s is going to be a big problem. When I get the nitrous put on, it'll be a great 470s car, so right where I want it to be. Anyway, what I wanted to do a video on was, I've had a bunch of people ask me, and the wiring, the back panel was done, but I had to get it just thrown together to be able to race last weekend, so it's not cleaned up, so excuse the mess. But what I have is I have the grid, the MSD grid up there in the top. Beside of it, the red box is a wideband O2 sensor that I've welded into each bung. So that way I can tune, with that, even though I don't have fuel injection on, it's carbureted. But then I've had a lot of people ask about the CDI, which is the Pro600 MSD, which, is more for pro mod, that kind of thing. But I went ahead and added it because it allows me to do a lot more tuning, tuning per cylinder, etc. So anyway, got that installed. So I wanted to talk about what I had to do in the easy way, because if you look at the videos on here, MSD and Holly have one video, and it's for a Ford. It's really complicated on what they're saying to do. So let me explain to you how to set this up easily, so that you don't have to kill yourself to get this thing in time, right? So I've got the distributor there. That's the MSD distributor with the cam sync. Or I shouldn't say distributor. That's the replace of the distributor. So it spins my oil pump, and then it's got a cam sync. And that sensor right there, that guy right there has a light on it, and it'll light up when you're not on the sensor, and then it goes off when you are. I don't have power on the car right now, obviously, and you can move that to adjust it. But basically, to set this up to get it working correctly, okay, is get your firing order, set your this is a 4/7 swap in this motor, so my firing order is a little different. But get your firing order and connect your coils according to the book. It shows you in the book exactly how to lay it out. It's not a big deal. But anyway, what you want to do before you remove your other distributor is bump the motor around until your crank trigger is coming up on the firing of the number one cylinder, and you're lined up with your number one pin. And you don't have to be dead on at this point. So basically what you want to do, get your distributor pointing towards your number one firing pin, and or coming up on your number one firing pin, and then you'll see the magnet that correlates with that. Now, by the way, I've got the front of the motor off because I'm doing some transmission work. But anyway, so what you're going to have is MSD for a carbureted engine. Now for EFI it's a little different, right? But for a carbureted engine, they want you to give a signal anywhere from 5 to 60 degrees before your crank trigger gives the signal for number one fire, okay? So they want you to lead with this sensor a little bit before that sensor. Now that confused the hell out of me, and I do robotics for a living, and it confused me on what they were asking, but then it made sense. So all you have to do is get your motor to where you're almost on your number one pin on the distributor, and you're coming up onto your magnet that would normally fire that cylinder, right? And then stop about 15 degrees, 20 degrees short, something like that. I was about I guess a half inch before the magnet got there on the sensor pickup. So you see there's a magnet right almost in front of it now. I was about a half inch. The magnet was about a half inch from reaching. And I stopped there, and I put my cam sync in. Okay, took the distributor out, put my cam sync in. And as soon as I hit the start button on this thing, it fired up and ran. So it was straightforward and simple. And then once you get it running, I'm going to walk around and show you. It's kind of dark in here, but you should still be able to see. And I'll do a follow-up video. Once I get the car back running with the transmission, and I'll do a follow-up and show you. But once you get the engine running at idle, MSD gives you these little sensors right here that show the coils. That's A through H, and it shows you if you have a problem. But what the cool thing is E, F, and G, the lights there, will tell you how many degrees you are above the optimal is 30 degrees, okay, on your lead. If you are below that, then it will have the E signal on. If you're above that, it'll have the G signal on. And if you're right on the money, the F light will be on. So you get it close, and then all you have to do is take your sync distributor shaft, take it loose, and turn it until the F is the only thing that's on, and you're in sync and you're good to go. It took all of 10 minutes for me to get that done, and their video was like the most complicated thing ever. So, if you already have a distributor in the car, you already have your number one cylinder firing, all that's good, just get it into position before you take your distributor out, drop your new cam sync in, and you'll be good to go. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on that. Anyway, haven't done a whole lot of videos with the car for YouTube because there's no views. You know, my videos are getting like 60, 70, 80 views, so it's kind of a waste of time. But I thought this might help, and, you know, we'll put it on there and see. Anyway, I grenaded the planetaries last weekend out. That's why it's in a million pieces right now. Got the transmission put back together. Luckily, I've got a nil chance bolt-together converter. Nothing got in the converter, didn't hurt the converter, so it's going back together now. Should be racing next weekend. Hopefully, I'll be able to put a little bit more power into it because I'll be able to test next Friday night. And I hope that next Friday night I can, you know, get the wheelie bars down a little bit, get the front end down, you know, add some weight or whatever I need to do up here to get the front end down a little bit. But I'd like to get it into the high 490s, and I'll probably run the rest of the season there. I don't know how many passes. This is a new car, obviously, if you've been seeing some of the other videos. If you're one of the 60 people that looked at the other video. So I don't know how many passes are on the motor. I know what the motor is, but I'm not sure how fresh it is, so I'm not going to put nitrous on it this season. We're just going to run normally aspirated, and then I'm going to take it down this fall, make sure everything's good and fresh, make sure, you know, it's ready to go, and then I'll put a couple kits on it next year if I don't sell this motor off and put the Pro Charged LS in it, which is what the original plans were before I bought this car turnkey. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Going to wrap it up there. Just wanted to give you an idea. If you want to see more about this CDI, how to program it, how to get it going, it's very straightforward in the grid system. If you use the grid system, very, very intuitive, very easy to use. And with the wideband O2 there, even though I'm carbureted, you know, I can still adjust and dial and tune my fuel in by having the readings to be able to know what's going on in the engine. So, and, you know, of course you can log, and I've got the Holley dash coming, the standalone 12.3 dash to replace the race pack that's in it. Basically because I plan on going to EFI. So I've bought some sensors. I'm going to be hooking them this week for fuel pressure, temperature sensor, temperature pressure, or temperature, golly, transmission temperature, water temperature, of course, and oil pressure, of course. So I'll get those in, get the wideband in so I can data log all that, and get it, you know, going to where I can see what the car is doing. But so far, first weekend out with the car, I went to the finals. Car drifted a little bit out of the center line, and I lost a little bit on it and ended up getting beat in the finals, but I'll take it. Did a bunch of suspension work on it the following week with just basically graphing out the 4-link, and I went from 90-pound springs in the back to 110-pound springs because it was way too soft in the back. So I had 110-pound springs, moved the 4-link around, put more bite into it to keep it planted, adjusted the double adjustables, added some compression. Anyway, got the car hooking great. I will stitch in a video here in a second of the car hooking and leaving. The problem was I couldn't get the wheels down. So I finally got enough power pulled out of it to keep the wheels down. Made one really good pass. I think I was dialed a 530 or a 531. The car went a 27. So it actually sped up from the passes before because it was staying hooked and planted. But anyway, you know, I broke out by a mile, so I bought back into the race, come back the next round, launched the car. It was on a great launch. Everything felt good. I mean, it felt like I was driving a pro stock car. I mean, everything felt fantastic. And it made it about 40 foot out and grenaded the planetary. So when I actually started putting all the power to the ground and hooking it, the planetaries couldn't handle it, grenaded those. So anyway, I've got all that repaired, got the transmission ready to go back in it, going to put that in tomorrow. I may even go live tomorrow. I think we're going to go to the Mooresville, North Carolina. They're having a 450 dragster, 470 index door car race tomorrow. I think we're going to go out there for a while. So I may film some of that and put on here, so you guys can see that. Anyway, hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. You know, we'll catch up soon. All right, talk to you later. Bye.